I found out about Lisa's affair the same night. My mother told me to be understanding. It was a kind of night that burns itself into your bones. The silence too heavy, the air too still, the truth too sharp to breathe through. Lisa and I had been married for 27 years. We weren't perfect. No couple that's weathered mortgages, teenage tempers, and endless nights without sleep ever is. But I thought we were solid. We'd raised 2 kids, built a home, and built a rhythm that felt sacred. Friday nights were pizza and movies. Sunday mornings, coffee on the porch. Her wearing my old sweatshirt, sunlight softening the lines around her eyes. But routine, I learned, can hide rot. It started with little things. Late-night work catch-ups. Her phone suddenly glued to her side. A faint perfume that wasn't hers. Or maybe it was just worn differently, deliberately. I told myself not to be paranoid. After all, we were older now, empty nesters. She deserved her space. But something was wrong. It was a Thursday when my world cracked open. I came home early from a cancel meeting, hoping to surprise her. Her car was in the driveway, lights dim inside. I heard faint music playing, soft, slow, too intimate. I pushed the door open and froze. Her laughter floated from the living room, light and nervous. Then a man's voice followed, low, confident, and then silence. I called her name. By the time I reached the hallway, he was gone. I never saw his face, just the echo of hurried footsteps and the sound of Lisa tugging down her dress. "Tom," she whispered, voice trembling. "You're home early." There's no right response to that. My heart had already answered for me. It broke quietly and completely. That night, she confessed. His name was Eric, a co-worker. It had been going on for 8 months. 8 months of lies, of her smile belonging to someone else, of her choosing another man for what she used to find in me. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said, fingers shaking around a mug she never drank from. I just felt seen again, like I wasn't invisible anymore. I wanted to rage, to break something, anything, but I couldn't. I just sat there, because what do you do when the person who promised you forever admits they already gave it away? I drove to my mother's house that night, desperate for comfort. She listened quietly as I told her everything, the affair, the lies, the years that had suddenly turned hollow. When I finished, she sighed and said, "Tom, you've both been through so much. Maybe Lisa just needed to find herself again." I stared at her. Find herself? By sleeping with another man. She spent her life being a wife and mother. My mother said softly, "You men don't always understand what that does to a woman. Maybe she deserves to live for herself, just once." Her words hit harder than Lisa's confession. "You're defending her." I said, "I'm saying people make mistakes," she replied calmly. "And after all those years of raising kids and supporting you, maybe you could try forgiveness." Forgiveness. The word curdled inside me. I didn't go home that night. I drove through dark streets, headlights slicing the cold air. Every song on the radio was a wound. Every memory felt like a ghost. I thought of the woman who used to curl up beside me, who cried at stupid movies, who once wrote that she couldn't imagine life without me. Now I couldn't imagine life with her. When I walked back into our house the next morning, she was waiting, eyes red, face pale, her wedding ring still on her finger. Somehow, that felt cruel. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I don't expect you to forgive me. I just don't know who I am anymore." "That makes 2 of us," I said quietly, "because I don't know who you are either." The days that followed blurred together. Work, bills, silent dinners. She moved into the guest room. Every conversation was polite, mechanical, empty. The house felt too big for 2 people so far apart. Our daughter, Anna, called one night. She heard the strain in my voice. I told her the truth. She paused and said softly, "I'm sorry, Dad, but I'm not surprised. Mom's been distant for a long time." That hurt most of all, that my daughter had seen what I refused to. A week later, Lisa asked if I considered counseling. I wanted to laugh, maybe cry, maybe both, but I went, because 27 years deserved something more than silence. The counselor, Meredith, asked us to talk about when the distance began. Lisa spoke first. "It wasn't one moment," she said. "It was years of feeling like I was fading. Tom's a good man, but after the kids left, it felt like there was nothing left for me." I wanted to argue, to remind her of the trips I planned, the dinners I cooked, the way I still reached for her hand in the dark. But as I looked at her, really looked, I saw the sadness behind her eyes. And I realized maybe she was right about one thing. We both stopped trying, just in different ways. That didn't excuse what she'd done, but it explained the silence between us. Counseling ended after 3 sessions. She said she needed space. I said she'd already taken too much of it. A month later, she moved out. Mom told me to call her. Said life's too short for bitterness. But I couldn't, not then. That first winter alone was brutal. I learned to make coffee for 1 instead of 2. I watched snow fall on her empty side of the porch. I tried to stop replaying that night in my head. The living room, the music, her voice soft and guilty. Spring came slow, and with it, a fragile kind of peace. One morning, I found an envelope in the mail. No return address, but I knew her handwriting instantly. Inside was a single page. "I don't expect you to forgive me," she wrote, "but I wanted you to know I'm sorry for the lies, the hurt, for forgetting the man who always loved me quietly. You once said love isn't about excitement. It's about choosing each other every day. I stopped choosing, and I regret that for the rest of my life." I read it twice, folded it back carefully, and tucked in the drawer beside my wedding band. That night, I called my mother. "Do you still think she deserved to live for herself?" I asked. She sighed. "I think everyone deserves a chance to be happy, Tom. Even you." For the first time, I agreed. It's been almost a year now. Lisa and I are separated but civil. We see each other at birthdays, holidays. There's a strange tenderness in the distance. Like 2 people who once survived a storm, but now live under quieter skies. I still miss her sometimes. Not the woman who betrayed me, but the one who believed we were stronger than time. But I've learned something too. Love isn't about holding on to someone who's already gone. It's about having the strength to let them go and still remember who you are when they're gone. Now, as I sit on that same porch, coffee warm in my hands and sunlight spilling across the yard, I realize this quiet, this healing, is what living for myself finally feels like.